Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to Route 66, 20 of the best possible stops you can make. Now this is going to be of great use. Like someday I want to do Route 66. This year I've got a trip planned to the US, but I'm going to see maybe 4 or 5 states. Route 66 is like, you know, that massive long road. I think it's like from one end of the US to the other. It's a big undertaking, but definitely want to do it one day. And this video here, I'm hoping it's going to show, you know, what kind of things to expect, what kind of things to plan to see and do. So yeah, I'm sure this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's do it.
Driving Route 66 is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Along the road, you'll get to see almost a century's worth of history while tracing the route that many used to migrate west. My dad and I took 14 days and drove the route from Santa Monica all the way to Chicago. Of course, there are more than 20 amazing things.
Santa Monica to Chicago. Santa Monica's in California, and Chicago, that's East Coast. Where is Chicago? Is it underneath New York?
To see on this drive, but we gathered up a few of our favorites and took turns sharing them in this video. Recommendation number 1 is the Blue Whale of Catoosa, Oklahoma. East of the town of Catoosa sits this cement whale, which is one of the most recognizable attractions on Route 66. I was really excited to see it, and it lived up to my expectations as the whale was a lot bigger than I thought it would be, and you could walk through its mouth and climb up on its tail. You can't swim there anymore, but it's still a great stop on Route 66 for the entire family.
I wonder why you
second
can't swim there.
recommendation is Seligman, Arizona. It's probably most famous as the home of the Delgadillo brothers. They are arguably the leaders in getting Route 66 back on the map after being decommissioned.
So is this Route 66 then? Yeah, wow, it goes right through the country.
Back in 1985. They run a barber shop and a burger shop, and you can still meet them and talk to them about the history of the route. For those of you who are Cars movie fans, it's probably the closest city to Radiator Springs you will find on the route. Also, if you're looking for a bite to eat, the Snow Cap Drive-In is the
Oh,
place.
look at that hot dog. Yes.
Recommendation number 3 is Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch in between Victorville and Barstow, California. I've been to the Bottle Tree Ranch many times, but there was something different.
This must have taken so long to stack all of these bottles up. Like, I wonder how many bottles got smashed in the process. Like, you were putting the last one on and then
About exploring it as part of our Route 66 drive. The bottle trees are basically pieces of metal welded together with bottles stuck on the end and everything from shovels to guns welded to the top.
Wow.
There are hundreds on the property, and this art installation is a fun place to explore in the middle of the California desert.
Recommendation number 4 is Cadillac Ranch, just outside of Amarillo,
What the
Texas.
heck?
It's the home of the 10 Cadillacs buried nose down right by the freeway.
Are they actually buried, or were they cut in half and sort of stuck onto the floor? Looks like they're kind of stuck.
They're surrounded by hundreds of empty spray paint cans from innumerable graffiti artists who have visited. So bring your paint can and make your mark. But be sure to take your trash with you when you leave.
Recommendation number 5 is Oatman, Arizona. After crossing over to Arizona from California, one of the first places we stopped was the small town of Oatman. It was instantly a favorite of mine as it felt like an old west town, and there were donkeys roaming the streets. The town had a small mine you could explore, a jail, and an old hotel and restaurant. The hotel is especially notable because it's where Clark Gable and Carol Lombard spent the first night of their honeymoon. I really enjoyed Oatman because the town just had a lot of charm, and it was one of my...
It really does look like the Wild West. This looks like that Clint Eastwood movie, The Good But the Bad, The Ugly. Like, I'm expecting someone to just come out like...
favorite stops on the entire drive.
Recommendation number 6 is the Route 66 Museum in Pontiac, Illinois. This is one of the very best museums on the route, especially because of memorabilia related to Bob Waldmeyer, the iconic artist of Route 66. His maps and drawings and art are on display, as well as his famous converted school bus and the VW van in which he...
Hold on a minute. Dude, this is crazy. Like, part bus, part house.
As well as his famous converted school bus and the VW van in which he traversed the route many times. This is a stop for which you need to plan a good 30 minutes to an hour.
Recommendation number 7 is the Merrimack Caverns in Missouri. Missouri is known for its caves, and Merrimack is one of the most famous on Route 66. There are signs for it hundreds of miles before you get to it, and luckily the cave tour easily lives up to the hype.
This
the tour
looks
walks
amazing.
you over a mile through the cave, which was once a hideout for the Jesse James gang, and has amazing formations with lots of underground water.
This is something I would definitely do. These are stalactites, aren't they? I always get this confused. Yeah, these are stalactites and these are stalagmites. I'd love to do this tour.
Plus, at the end of the tour, they have a patriotic show that they display on the cave wall as well, and that's not something I've ever seen in a cave tour before.
Looks amazing.
Recommendation number 8 are the Black Mountains of western Arizona. After leaving California, you cross the stunning Colorado River and the surrounding mountains there known as the Needles. You then arrive at the ruggedly beautiful and vertiginous Black Mountains. As you travel the winding roads, you can only imagine the difficulty travelers must have had in the past moving west to start a new life in California. It was easily one of the most beautiful natural sights of the route.
Recommendation number 9 is Petrified Forest National Park.
Petrified
As the
Forest.
only national park that Route 66 runs through, Petrified Forest is certainly worth the stop. I would recommend spending an entire day in this park if you have the time, and I have a whole video on it in the description.
The color of these, like, what are these? They're not quite mountains. Are these hills? The red stone color. Really cool.
Even if you just go in to see the Route 66 history, you'll still drive past the Painted Desert and can visit the old Painted Desert Inn before arriving at the exhibit. The Route 66 exhibit marks where the road used to run through the park, and it has an old rusted car on display as well. Definitely spend a half day exploring the park if you can, but even if you can't, come in and see the Route 66 exhibit so you get a better understanding of the history of the route through this part of Arizona.
How old is Route 66? Like, I think he said it is 100 years, but I feel like it must be older than that, right?
Recommendation number 10 is the city of Tulsa. When you go to Tulsa, it's obvious that they are making every effort to bring back Route 66, starting with the amazing Route 66 Rising statue, which is like a symbol of what is happening right now on the route. Some of the highlights to be sure to see are the East Meets West statue, the Buck Adams Space Cowboy, the Mother Road Market, the huge oil driller statue, and the beautiful
massive
Meadow Gold sign.
That statue
Recommendation
is
number
huge.
11 is Standing on the Corner Park in Winslow, Arizona. This roadside stop was especially fun for me as I remember growing up listening to the famous Eagles song about standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. The fact that the town has adopted this line and dedicated a park in the middle of the downtown area to it is a lot of fun. There were dozens of people checking it out and taking photos, and there are 2 statues of Jackson Browne and Glenn Frey, as well as a flatbed Ford from the song parked right on the corner.
Recommendation number 12 is Devil's Rope Museum in McLean, Texas. As we were planning the route, it looked just like an interesting stop, but when we got there, it was fascinating.
So Arizona is right next to Texas. I thought Texas was further the other way. I didn't realize. So you've got California, Arizona, and then Texas? My geography is really bad. I think I need to look at a map of the US.
Every kind of barbed wire for every purpose was there,
I thought Texas
including
was near
art.
Florida.
How the wire was manufactured, strung, and spliced were all displayed, and you can even buy pieces of barbed wire from the 1800s. It's also connected to an interesting Route 66 museum, which has one attraction from an old reptile ranch, which is a huge snake. You may think that a museum about barbed wire is not an interesting place to stop, but you'll be glad that you did.
Recommendation number 13 is the Blue Hole in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Located in a relatively small town on the east side of the state, this geological wonder has been a popular tourist stop ever since the route was developed. The water here is a cool 62 degrees year-round, and it's a fun
Nice.
place to stop, especially if you're driving the road in the summer. It's basically just a swimming hole, but it's crazy how clear the water is, and they have a cool cliff jumping spot, making it a fun stop for the entire family on Route 66.
Yeah. Especially on a hot day, taking a dip there would be nice.
Recommendation number 14 is Twin Arrows east of Flagstaff, Arizona. It's lost its former glory as a trading post, but you can still go and see the 2 huge arrows stuck into the ground. Plus, there are a few buildings that you can explore that are in disrepair. It's a quick stop, but it's worth getting off the freeway to take a few pictures of
Yeah, I'd definitely take a picture standing right here.
this iconic spot.
Recommendation number 15 is Pop's Soda Ranch in Arcadia, Oklahoma. On the outskirts of Oklahoma City, Pop's Soda Ranch is one of the newest attractions to Route 66, and it's quickly becoming a really popular tourist stop. This attraction has over 700 sodas for sale, a small restaurant, and a gas
Wow,
station.
look at all that
Plus,
soda.
it has a large LED soda bottle outside, which is lit up in crazy colors at night. We made a late night drive from Oklahoma City to see it lit up, and it was definitely worth it as it's a great stop for photos, especially at night.
Recommendation 16 is just to stop and talk to people. We had some great conversations with passionate site owners of the various spots along the way who will be delighted to tell you about how they came to Route 66 and how they developed the spot that they are now running. You'll also find
What the heck?
knowledgeable locals, many of whom lived during the early days of Route 66. It's also fun to chat with fellow travelers who have found unique discoveries of their own along the way. So plan to take a little extra time, be brave, and talk to some folks, because for me, it was one of the best highlights of the entire route.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
recommendation number 17, I just want to throw all the old signs and motels into one. During our drive, we stopped at over 300 spots, and one of the most fun things was just to keep your eyes peeled for the old signs and motels along the way. Both the old history and the new are fun to see while driving this famous road, and every single day you'll see reminders of days past on Route 66. Also, be sure to head out at night when you're in some of the more famous
TP Curious. So this is like a Native American type place? Or, okay, so like a memorabilia. I've never seen a building like this before. This is so like unique.
famous towns like Seligman and Tucumcari, since these towns often have some great neon signs to see at night as well.
For our last 3 spots, we wanted to share some of the food
What
we
is
liked.
that?
Recommendation number 18 is Cattlemen's Steakhouse in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It is nationally known as one of the top steak restaurants in the country.
Whoa.
But as you get inside, the setting feels like you've stepped back into a high-class restaurant back in the 1950s.
Oh my
At
gosh.
Cattlemen's, whatever steak you choose, you can't go wrong. But be brave and try the lamb fries.
Recommendation number 19 is Cozy Dog in Springfield, Illinois. Cozy Dog was a highlight for me since it's the birthplace of the corn dog. I've always enjoyed
Whoa.
corn dogs, so I love being able to
I've never tried a corn dog in my life, guys. I know. They don't sell them here. It's so frustrating. I need to try and find one. Maybe I can get one on Amazon or something. Get it mailed over.
try the original. Plus, the small restaurant has a large connection to Route 66 through the Waldmeyer family. Ed Waldmeyer created the Cozy Dog, and it's remained unchanged since 1946. His son, Bob Waldmeyer, is one of the most well-known artists who spent most of his life on Route 66. You'll see his art and murals all over the drive, but you can actually buy prints of his mini maps and designs in the Cozy Dog as well.
Our last recommendation is the Doghouse Restaurant in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We actually stumbled upon this place, but when we were inside,
Cool seats. Really retro. Like an old school bar.
we realized that this was voted the best chili dog in America. When
Wow.
you think about how
The
pervasive
best.
chili dogs are, that is a huge claim. But we both agreed this small, unassuming restaurant produced the best chili dogs we had ever had.
Oh man, I need one.
Thanks so much for exploring Route 66 with us. Hopefully this encouraged you to take the drive as well. If you want to read more about all these spots, go to throughmylens.com and we'll see you on the
Awesome
next
video. That was an awesome video. Like a lot of those stops just, you know, had this sort of nostalgic quality to them. That TP place, the steak restaurant, the place in Arizona that looked like the Wild West. just places that you'd never sort of see, like you wouldn't see them commonly, like almost like relics of the past. But yeah, I'd love to sort of go there, just take a look around, take a few pictures. Yeah, I definitely need to do Route 66 one day. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.